So Huddle is exactly like what Zoom is on the app side, which is a Web3 native Zoom, where essentially you can do all the things you can do on Google Meet, Zoom, Microsoft Teams. But the catch is that we use crypto primitives. So Huddle started off in July of 2020. There was no idea of building a company out of it. I and Sushmit came together with a very simple childlike thinking where like everybody's talking about decentralization, Web 3.0 and stuff like that, but all their meetings were happening over Zoom, over Google Meet, over Microsoft Teams. And we realized that philosophically, if people are aligned to the values of ownership, they are not getting that while using these kind of applications where you cannot own them. Also, there are privacy issues, and there's also performance issues as well. So we wanted to attack all these three verticals: owning, privacy, as well as performance. And that's how we, in the hackathon itself, we built a peer-to-peer video conferencing platform where we tried to solve for performance, privacy, and also how can we in future make this application ownable by people itself. So obviously it was I am an electrical engineer by my background. I graduated in 2016, did my electrical engineering from LNMIT Jaipur. Same is my co-founder Sushmit, co-founder CTO Sushmit, who also is from my same university. We have known each other for the last 7 years now. He's also from the same university. He graduated in 2019. My background is that I did product and growth at a lot of startups. I've always been a startup guy. Just directly go to huddle01.com, click on start meeting, and bam, you're done. Very similar to how you do on Google Meet. The flow is exactly similar. There's no friction involved, and anyone can use Huddle for their calls on a day-to-day basis. We've been seeing a few schools also adopting Huddle now, both in India as well as in US. Also, a couple of edtech startups doing it. So it's not a Web3 product. It's a product which can be used by anyone because we made it really simple in terms of interfaces on how you can use Huddle. We are trying to solve for the ownership part, the performance part, as well as the privacy part of things. And these are the three reasons why what we're catering on the product and the infrastructure layer itself. And that's why we believe that we have a couple of things which we have in addition to what the current centralized conferencing platforms provide. Web3 is a lot based on ownership-based economy. And there are a lot of small communities which have come up there. And these communities want to do calls together. And all the communities have their own tokens, their social tokens, their NFTs, their SBTs, and a lot of these other things. Now, all of them want to have their own, they want to have a personalized social experience itself. So what happens at Huddle is that, let's suppose you're a school in which you're of class 5th A, maybe. And then the teacher, maybe the teacher has distributed NFTs to all the students of the class itself. Different NFTs to the students itself. Now, only the 5th A class students can join the call, where essentially who have those NFTs itself. So think of it this manner, where in Zoom, if you have to log in, that means all the children's data, their email ID, their IP, their location, their email address, everything, their full name, everything gets stored on the Google server. At Huddle, we are using something called as MetaMask, which is a different kind of identity. Not like exactly like Google sign-in, but where you own your data itself. So essentially, you'll be owning your data, and you'll be able to do a token-gated call. So token-gated calls is nothing but a new way to do authentication of different than Google, where you own all the data. Privacy, I believe, is a birthright. Sometimes we don't take it really seriously, but privacy is a birthright, and that's what Huddle believes in, where essentially your data belongs to you and your recordings belongs to you. And there have been instances with a couple of conferencing solutions where the recordings which have been stored on the servers have got breached, and that has led to a massive privacy issues happening. At Huddle01, what happens is that you don't have to store the recordings onto AWS servers or onto any of the servers itself. You store it on Filecoin, which is cryptographically encrypted. And essentially, no one apart from you can get that data. You cannot own Zoom right now, but you will be able to own Huddle01 itself. So the how is something which we are working on, but yeah, that's in for a surprise. When COVID had happened, a lot of students had to were forced to sit at home and do the classes online. That's where there was a burst on all these conferencing solutions itself. But we have to realize that tier 1 and tier 2 cities had a good bandwidth and good internet connection, so they were able to do the calls. But there were a lot of tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5 cities who didn't have a good internet connections. They were not able to do the learning really properly. And that's because the architecture of how the current solutions are built, conference solutions are built, are not great. And that's why it's becoming important for Indians as well, because essentially for tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5 cities where the internet penetration is not great, Huddle will be working better with a better latency and with a better performance as compared to the current solutions which are out there. That's the architecture where we are working towards. We will be moving away from these 2D based screens to more like an environment where I'm doing a VR, a VR based conferencing itself. And Huddle has been playing with Oculus Quest 2, a bit with HoloLens as well, so that you can do these calls in an easier fashion, in a new kind of fashion, where essentially we're moving away from these 2D kind of screens where I'm just they're two screens seeing each other, to more like wearing a headset, and which will become lighter over time, obviously, and having a call itself where you feel like you're doing a call there and there itself. In terms of challenges in the metaverse, I definitely believe that doing a video conferencing will become easier over time, but doing stuffs which are more which are more experiential in nature will become very difficult. For example, surfing. You cannot do surfing. You cannot do swimming into the metaverse right now, because these are more multi-haptic, multi-touch points. So that's something which will come years down the line, maybe 7 to 8 or even 10 years down the line. But for all of these things, these requires higher data packet sizes, and that's where Huddle01 comes in with a new architecture, saying that this could be done in a very easier fashion at the end of the day.